One of the biggest innovations of the 20th century was longevity. So we added 30 years of life to 1 century. In fact, midlife didn't even exist. Adolescence emerged in 1904. Prior to that, you were an adult when you hit puberty. 1930s, pensions and Social Security, and then later retirement communities and AARP. Because of that, what it means to be old has changed. And it wasn't until 1965 that the term midlife crisis got coined. And since then, 60 years later, we still don't understand midlife, but it's the longest life stage. We have the Hollywood trope.
You're probably just having a midlife crisis.
I was thinking about buying a Porsche.
The Hallmark cards. We need to do some kind of class action lawsuits, because if you go starting at age 40, they're going to make fun of your age.
Over the hill, the ridiculous cartoons. I mean, why is that aging has become a joke? And what does that mean if we absorb that message? That I'm a joke, that I am useless, that I don't have anything to offer?
We don't really have, as a society, something to combat that.
Death in the United States, and the highest rate of suicide is in middle-aged white men. In 2020,
1 in 5 women between the ages of 40 to 59 are turning to antidepressants. That's compared.
Says the largest increases were seen among middle-aged and elderly people. He says
the paradox is we have people living longer, and yet they're feeling more irrelevant and invisible. This is a public health issue. If we do not invest in our longevity at age 50, then you're going to have a collection of people in society who at age 60, 70, and 80 are getting increasingly old and a burden on society. This is a life stage that is, for some people, life and death. We have institutions of learning that are about accumulating knowledge. And we call them high schools, colleges, universities, graduate schools, whatever. There's a lot of knowledge in the world. And yet, the truth is we're sort of getting to a place where it feels like all of the world's knowledge is on this little phone. It's a commodity. How come we don't have any institutions at all that really help people to distill their wisdom, to make sense of what they've learned along the way?
Parents, aging, kiddo about to launch to college. I have a spouse who has had some pretty significant health difficulties, going through my own menopause journey as a woman who just turned 50. Looking at the fact that I had so much stress in multiple different systems, I did feel like I lost my happiness.
So interesting, people arrive at the ranch that they often have some particular reason that they're here. It's something that they're either drawn to, they're quite curious, or they're processing something, but often everyone arrives sort of inwardly focused. The world is all over them.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we kind of come in with our masks and our stories. We don't really understand that we're able to drop into that authentic self. We're afraid. We've been taught to protect that authentic self, and sometimes that's gone untapped for years and years and years. And the reason people are here is to rediscover who they are and who they want to be and leave behind those masks.
I'm feeling very just hopeless in terms of that there was not a whole lot in front of me at this age. You start thinking of all the wonderful things you've done and where you are. And then maybe also some of the regrets that you have, like the things I should have done, and that there's a short runway, in front of me.
You think about it, when you're a kid, you don't realize that there's rites of passage that are happening. Like learning to ride your bike is kind of like a rite of passage. Certain birthdays or different cultures may have a communion or a quinceañera or some sort of celebration for moving through these stages of life. But as we get older, we don't have any rites of passage for hitting these milestones of adulthood.
I had spent about 30 years in the advertising business, and that's a very intense sort of a life, and was struggling with some depression issues and challenges with purpose.
Did I just blow up my life? Like, what do? I don't know. I don't even know who I am as a post-corporate person. I don't know what my identity is. Why was I out of alignment with the job that I was doing?
We live in a culture that has so normalized being disconnected that we've lost some of the mileposts or signs that would tell us, hey, you're really disconnected. We don't even see those anymore. The more I've connected with nature, it's given me access to parts of myself that I wouldn't have had access to otherwise. And the more I've connected with myself and with nature, the more it's given me access to connecting with others.
At age 54, which is the average age of the person who comes to MEA, if that person lives till 90, and that, when we did a survey 3 years ago, that was the number one age people thought they would live till, 54 is exactly halfway between 18 and 90. So from that point of view, mid-50s is halfway through your adult life. Part of the reason that MEA exists is because we don't talk about this. And why don't we talk about it? Because, the words we use associated with aging, old, ooh, senior, ooh, elder, we don't like these words, partly because they all define something that we don't ever want to be. And yet, if we're lucky in life, we get older. And if we're really lucky, we get elder, which means we have something to offer.
Kind of a type A. I'm a former attorney, and we kind of want to know what the plan is. And I had to become okay with not knowing exactly what the plan was. I am encountering kind of this experience and coming here today in the same way. I have no idea what the plan is. I didn't even know necessarily what to pack, but I knew I was coming to a place that deeply cared about adults and adults aging and the way that we think about aging and the way we make transitions and about our purpose.
The most common energy that people arrive on the ranch with is stuck. They feel stuck in their career, they feel stuck in their relationship, they feel stuck in their patterns, and they're tired of it. And they want to make that change into something new, to transition from where they are to where they want to be.
And, that happens throughout the week, in all the various ways, the food, the meditations, the walks, the teachings, the being with the horses, being with the donkeys, those kinds of experiences, they enliven, they activate various parts of their ecosystem.
It's a recipe that works every time. You have people from all different walks of life, all different backgrounds, different political orientations, and they love each other by the end of the week.
But the place that I see most of the magic happen is in the dining room. It's a phenomenon to watch how food brings people together and breaking bread together and eating 3 meals together, to hear the laughter and the joy and the sensory pleasure of these meals. Because the food's incredible.
We definitely approach the kitchen and the food that we make with the intention of healing and nourishing people's souls and bodies and minds. The food here affects the compadres in that when they're going through all this emotional turmoil and healing and, picking apart of their selves, it's really good to eat nicely, and have good nourishment, healthy food that makes you feel good. And that's kind of our goal. It's like when somebody is going through a hard time and their friends bring them a good casserole, or a nice pie, And that really makes a difference. I'm sure there's some scientific study that says that food is a really important factor in healing.
So this morning, I wanted to get into creating a little bit of a context, and then we'll set an intention. Joseph Campbell. I don't know how many of you have heard of Joseph Campbell, but he was deep into myth and how it applies to our lives and what's available through studying myth and mythology. And he said, if you want to change your life, change your metaphors.
I spent a lot of decades kind of believing what I think is a pretty common idea out there, is that we got to be careful with your feeling self. Stay up here. So I did. I lived here, and it maybe in some ways served me, but it just was time to drop back in. Once I learned how to identify and be okay with whatever was going on internally, then having the space, the comfort to do that with other people is kind of revelatory.
Very uptight, stressed out, anxious, ad agency guy. Every minute was, my life was more important than everything around me. And now I feel so much more a part of everything and so much more relaxed and joyful.
The truth is, as we're living longer, people are experiencing midlife a little bit differently. In fact, a lot of people, and part of the reason MEA exists, is because a lot of people are actually saying, okay, I'm 50 years old, I gotta figure out what's next. Because I'm not gonna be retiring at 60 or 65 like my parents did.
There's this mindset that somehow getting older means you're checking out slowly but surely from the world. And that just doesn't jive with most people who don't want that life. These voices start to rise in us that we need to do something different.
It's not time to get in the rocking chair. It's time to be that wisdom person and be that voice that encourages these generations.
So we looked all over the US, but Santa Fe was the one that spoke to us for a few reasons. Number one is Santa Fe is a place that for decades and maybe centuries, people have come here seeking. It's a place to seek. It's a place that has elder wisdom, especially native elder wisdom. The idea that the elders may have some power, but their job is to be the steward of the culture and of the wisdom and of the most important values. It's a place where the land, the nature is so prevalent. Nature is a teacher here.
There's something about this land. I don't think it's a mistake that the old Christian mystics and mystics from all the traditions, many of them were drawn to the desert.
This land is for healing. There's 3 diminishing assets in the world right now: quiet, space, and darkness. And this land provides all 3 of those things.
People come, some of them are city dwellers.
Their depth of field has been 3 feet in front of them.
Some people, it's a little disturbing to be in this expansive of a space.
This is just huge, and it takes the brain a minute to adjust to the amount of space that's here. That's where the journey begins.
Think about it. It goes back thousands of years that we've gone in small bands moving across the earth. And so when people go on the Ridgetop Rally and they're out on the land and they're experiencing this expansiveness in silence, it alters something in them. And they have access to something in them, an experience of themselves that perhaps they've lost touch with.
There are precious few opportunities in our society to distill wisdom. And we're the first of what I hope will be many schools that will do this. I think it's time now for Midlife to have its moment.